I have the boat fully rigged. All the running hardware is on the boat. All the electronics are installed. Turn fin. The fin and wings and all these scale bits are simply tack glued in place. Windshield's taped on, driver figures tack glued in place, all done with just a dot of CA temporarily. It didn't take long to finish everything, mostly because all the details that I took care of as the build went along. I have built a foam stand for it. It's glued together along with toothpicks. I'll go over everything that I finished up, also the electronics package that I put in the boat. I epoxied the stuffing tube with G-Flex epoxy. Nice, neat opening. Makes for a nice, neat epoxy job. I made a carbon fiber brace for the 3/16 stuffing tube. I am running a Teflon liner inside of that with an 098 cable. I used a small wheel collar, airplane wheel collar, for a servo saver. Really simple installing the ESC in the receiver. The ESC is pretty much held in place by the silicon coolant lines and the wires. It's up against that stringer on the inside. I'm just putting the receiver on the floor between the stuffing tube and the ESC. And I'm not even mounting this on-off switch. Just pull it up to turn it on and off. It just lays right there. Got the antenna wire running back that way, and it can't go anywhere when you put the cowling on. The light I'm running a 2200 milliamp hour 2-cell LiPo, 7.4 volts. This is a 25 to 50 C discharge nanotech. Love when it works out simple like this. That goes in that side right there. Simply slide it all the way forward. Works out as far as center of gravity. This foam block keeps it all the way forward. And then I have this foam block cut to fit between the stuffing tube right here and up against the LiPo, holding it against that stringer, and then simply plug it in, tuck that right up against the wires, servo wires on the receiver, and nothing is touching the coupler. I have this cut so clears the cowling, and again, antenna wire laying right there, everything tucked in nice and neat, no room to go anywhere based on the size of the boat and electronics. There it is. Very functional, handy, simple to set up and run the boat. Ready to go. Just pull out the switch, turn it on, put the cowling on, put it in water. For the electronics, let's unplug this LiPo. I am running a Leopard Hobby brushless motor. This is a 2845 can, 4700 kV. It's a 3.5D motor. ESC is the Hobbywing Sea King 30 amp brushless speed control. And this is a Horizon Hobby servo. There's the numbers on it. Mini servo, waterproof. I'm going with 2S LiPo setup, therefore the 4700 kV motor. It's like how everything fits in a boat. I've built it nice and light. I think it'll be plenty of motor for the boat. And this being a 3.5D motor, I've also programmed the ESC to 0 degrees timing. On a D motor, if you raise the timing, all it'll do is increase the heat. So what's recommended is 0 to 5 degrees, just enough to stop the clogging or the stuttering when it starts. And at 0 degrees, this is starting nice and smooth. For a Y motor, yes, you can increase the timing, but along with increased timing comes more heat. So you just have to find that balance. But D motors, 0 to 5 degrees timing. An added benefit to going with a 2S system is how the boat balanced. I didn't have to move any components around or add any weight. I've previously checked this more accurately on a straight edge, but there's my balance point with all the electronics just in place where they're supposed to go. It is right on the back edge of the turn fin. I was having an issue with this 1/16 music wire, the rudder control rod. As the rudder would swing back and forth, this control horn swings through an arc, and the 1/16 music wire wouldn't flex. It was causing some drag on my servo. The solution was to grind this down, this section right in here, to a 32nd of an inch. Now it works nice and free, centers perfectly. And I've still kept my 1/16 music wire and the fit and a brass tube from a waterproof seal and how it engages into this control horn here. Other than that modification to my rudder control rod, this is all Offshore Electric's micro rudder and strut, mounted per the plans. And I'm starting off with a 3214 CNC machine prop. It's a 2-blade, looks like a 0.5 blade area ratio. So I've sharpened it and checked the balance. And that's a 1.26 diameter by 1.4 pitch. This is Offshore Electric's micro turn fin. Has a small slot in the turn fin. I've got it mounted with the turn fin all the way down. And for setup purposes, I've scribed a line on this side of the turn fin that exactly corresponds to the bend that they have on the back to create the curved turn fin. The only surface on this boat that runs parallel to the running attitude of the boat is this section right in here. It's the aft bottom center piece, what Dr. Jet called the balsa control plate that squares up the frame early on in the build. So I'm using that surface to set up the boat. The curved turn fin to cause the boat to become wetter or looser, and also the angle on my strut. Here's the all-up weight of the boat. $584 grams. 583. 1 pound, 4.6 ounces. That is with the lipo in it. So that's the all-up weight, ready to go in the water. I've put together a setup board. Filed this surface nice and flat. Curved turn fin and rudder can hang off the sides of the board. These two blocks will put the bottom of the ride pads level with the center line of the prop shaft. Set the strut height so that aft center section is level, and that's how I'm setting up the boat. Standard stuff. So I have the curved turn fin using a scribe line with it set up on a board. I have it neutral, neither running too loose or too wet. And I set up the strut a little bit down for us. I can fit 5/1000 shim between the bottom of the strut in the front and the setup board. It's ready to run. Got glass. Maiden run. Checking for it running straight. My trim. Looks good. Water's coming out. The outlet, water cooling. Nice. A bit of a hop to it. Of course, it could be this little boat. It could be those little ripples I got going on now. Yeah, it's smooth right out. Very good, maiden. Wow. That's so pretty. Uh-oh. Chine walk. I have everything set up pretty neutral. Just want to get out here and run it. Look at the roost. Got a rooster tail. I am maybe third throttle. Cold water always worries me. Come out when the water's cold. I don't want to have to do a rescue. Wow. The Blue Blaster. Successful maiden, White River Reservoir. In 100 years, I would have never thought I would get the maiden in on the Atlas Van Lines 120 scale mini unlimited hydroplane. November 8th, it's 39 degrees out, overcast, it's been rainy. A week ago, we had freezing weather, 2 inches of snow, and this reservoir had skim ice on it.